She'll drain your energy. She'll make you doubt yourself. And if you're not careful, she'll destroy everything you've worked for. You think you're being kind. You think you're being strong by staying loyal. But the truth is you're being played, and deep down you know it. There are women who build men up, and there are women who tear men apart, slowly, silently, and with a smile. This video is not about hate, it's about survival. Because once you spot these 6 signs, you won't just protect your peace, you'll protect your entire future. If you've ever been lied to, disrespected, or left wondering what went wrong, you need to hear this. Stay with me till the end. This will change the way you see everything. Sign 1. She disrespects you subtly and regularly. It never starts with a slap or a scream. It starts with little things, a sarcastic comment in front of your friends, a joke about how you're not ambitious enough, a passive-aggressive eye roll when you speak. You brush it off at first. You tell yourself, she's just emotional, or she didn't mean it. But let's be real. If someone keeps throwing small stones at your self-worth, eventually it cracks. This kind of woman doesn't build with you. She chips away at you. Here's the psychological trick. Low-value women disrespect men quietly. They don't scream. They whisper insults wrapped in humor. They test your boundaries not with fists, but with words that sting later when you're alone. And here's the trap. If you allow it once, you teach her that it's okay. And if she's low value, she'll escalate. She'll start testing you more often. And soon she's running the relationship while you're just trying to keep the peace. Let me give you a real-world example. You're telling her about a goal you've been working on. You're passionate. You're excited. She looks at you and says, "Oh, that's cute. You really think that'll work?" Boom. That's not support. That's sabotage in disguise. Takeaway? You must treat subtle disrespect the same way you treat open hostility, because it's just as dangerous. A woman who doesn't respect you can never truly love you. Set your boundaries with steel. Speak up the first time. A high-value man doesn't tolerate disrespect in any form. Mic drop line. If she mocks your vision, she doesn't deserve your future. Sign 2. She uses her emotions as weapons. Crying when she doesn't get her way. Going cold and silent to punish you. Exploding with rage just to win an argument. You're not in a relationship. You're on an emotional battlefield. A low-value woman doesn't communicate. She manipulates. She's not interested in solving problems, only in controlling outcomes. And the most dangerous part? She'll use your empathy against you. She knows you care. She knows you're a decent man who doesn't want to hurt her. So she turns every disagreement into a guilt trip, until you're apologizing for things you didn't do just to make the chaos stop. This is not sensitivity. This is strategy. Let me give you a real-life situation. You point out a genuine concern. Maybe she's being flaky or distant. Instead of owning it, she bursts into tears and says, "I can't believe you think I'm a bad person." Suddenly, you're comforting her, and your valid point gets buried under her emotional storm. Classic deflection. Here's what you need to understand. A high-value woman expresses emotion. A low-value woman weaponizes it. And if you stay in that environment long enough, you'll start questioning your reality. You'll start walking on eggshells, just to avoid triggering her next meltdown. That's not love. That's emotional blackmail. Takeaway. If her emotions always override logic, communication, and accountability, you're not in a relationship. You're in a power struggle you'll never win. You're not her therapist. You're not her emotional punching bag. And you're not responsible for fixing wounds she refuses to heal. Mic drop line. When a woman controls you with her emotions, you lose your mind and your manhood. Sign 3, she has no purpose outside of attention. You ever meet someone whose entire life revolves around being seen? Instagram stories, selfies, drama, gossip, nights out, constant validation. She's not building anything, she's performing. A low-value woman doesn't chase purpose, she chases attention. And the problem is, attention is cheap. But once she gets addicted to it, she'll do anything to keep the spotlight on her. This is the type of woman who will post thirst traps while in a relationship. She'll say it's just confidence. But deep down, she needs that dopamine hit every time someone reacts. Because when the phone goes silent, so does her sense of worth. Let's play out a quick scenario. You're with her at dinner. You're talking about your goals, your day, your ideas. She's half listening, checking her phone every few seconds. She's smiling more at the screen than she does at you. Why? Because your presence doesn't give her the same hit as strangers swiping up on her stories. Here's the dangerous truth. A woman without inner direction will always rely on outer attention to feel alive. And when she doesn't get it from you, she'll seek it elsewhere. Not always physically, but emotionally, digitally, silently. And here's the twist. No matter how much you give, it's never enough. Because you can't fill a void she refuses to face. Takeaway? Ask yourself, is she focused on becoming something or just being seen? A high-value woman moves with vision. She creates, contributes, grows. A low-value woman spins in circles, trying to look valuable without ever becoming it. Mic drop line. If the only thing she's building is her followers, you'll never be more than a prop in her personal highlight reel. Sign 4. She plays the victim in every story. Ever notice how nothing is ever her fault? The ex was crazy, the boss was jealous, the friends were fake. The world's just so unfair to her. Sound familiar? A low-value woman never owns her role in the chaos. She paints herself as the innocent victim in every situation, no matter how clear her behavior was. Why? Because if she plays the victim, she never has to change. It's always someone else's fault. This is the woman who will mess up, lie, disrespect, and still somehow convince you you're the one who owes her an apology. She cries, she shifts the narrative. She leaves out key details that would expose her. And suddenly you're second-guessing your memory. That's not forgetfulness, that's manipulation. Let me give you a common example. You catch her texting her ex. She says, "I didn't want to tell you because I knew you'd overreact." Now you become the problem because of how you might feel. Not her decision, not her betrayal, just your overreaction. You see how twisted that is? The real danger here is psychological. Over time, this kind of woman will condition you to doubt yourself. You'll question your instincts. You'll lose confidence. You'll feel guilty for even standing up for yourself. And that's exactly what she wants. Control through confusion. Takeaway? Accountability is the foundation of character. If she never takes responsibility for her actions, she's not emotionally safe. And a man who stays in that environment will slowly lose his own sense of right and wrong. Mic drop line. If she's always the victim, guess who becomes the villain? You. Sign 5. She competes with you instead of supporting you. A low-value woman doesn't want a partner. She wants a rival she can control. So instead of clapping for your wins, she downplays them. Instead of encouraging your growth, she tries to outdo you. It starts small. You hit a goal, she brings up her own. You talk about something you're proud of, she shifts the topic to herself. And if you ever surpass her, she gets cold, distant, maybe even angry. Why? Because deep down, your success threatens her identity. She doesn't want to be inspired. She wants to be on top. This kind of woman turns relationships into power struggles. And if you're not careful, she'll make you feel guilty for leveling up. Imagine this. You tell her you've been offered a big promotion. Instead of celebrating, she says, "Well, I guess you won't have time for me anymore." She makes your achievement about her insecurity. And just like that, your joy is poisoned. This is not a woman who wants to rise with you. This is someone who wants to keep you small so she can feel big. A high-value woman doesn't compete with her man. She compliments him. She stands beside him, not in front of him. She wants both of you to win. But a low-value woman? She'll resent your growth, your goals, and your grind. Takeaway? You need someone who adds fuel to your fire, not someone who tries to dim your flame. If she's threatened by your ambition, she was never built for your journey. Mic drop line. If she sees your success as a threat instead of a team win, she's not your partner. She's your anchor. Sign 6. She has no standards, but demands everything from you. This is the most dangerous kind of woman. She offers the bare minimum, but expects the absolute maximum. No discipline, no growth, no real values. Yet she wants a king to worship her like a queen. She has no vision, no self-respect, but she'll judge you for every little thing: your money, your status, your past, your mood. She shows up late, brings drama, drains your peace, and still looks you in the eye and says, "You're lucky to have me." Think about that. This woman hasn't earned the role she's demanding in your life. She wants loyalty, but she flirts for attention. She wants provision, but doesn't invest in herself. She wants respect, but constantly crosses your boundaries. This is entitlement without effort, and it's a clear sign of low value. Here's the deeper truth. A woman who respects herself will never come into a relationship empty-handed. She'll bring peace, support, warmth, purpose. But a low-value woman, she brings chaos, conditions, and a list of demands she doesn't live by. Let me give you a picture. You're out here grinding, fixing your life, stacking goals, healing from the past, and she's doing what? Scrolling TikTok, gossiping, and waiting for someone to rescue her from the life she's not even trying to change. That's not a partner. That's a liability dressed up as a lover. Takeaway? Pay close attention to what she expects and what she's becoming. If the gap is wide, walk away. You weren't put here to carry dead weight disguised as destiny. Mic drop line. If she brings nothing to the table but demands the whole feast, she's not your blessing, she's your burden. Final reflection. Now you've seen the 6 signs. They're not just warnings, they're mirrors, because every low-value woman you entertain is a reflection of the boundaries you haven't enforced yet. And I get it. Some of you are hurting. You've been loyal. You've given your time, your energy, your soul. You kept showing up, even when she didn't deserve you. You made excuses for her, hoping things would change. But deep down you felt it. You knew something wasn't right. And today you finally have the words for it. This is your wake-up call. Not to hate her, not to hate women, but to respect yourself. Because every time you stay with someone who disrespects you, drains you, or manipulates you, you tell your future self, "I'm not worth more than this." And that's a lie. You are worth more. You deserve peace over performance, depth over drama, loyalty over lust. Stoicism teaches this truth. You can't control her actions, but you can control your standards. Your energy is sacred. Stop giving it to people who treat it like it's a disposable. Here's the real test. It's not whether you can handle a low-value woman. It's whether you love yourself enough to walk away from one. You don't rise by saving someone drowning in their own excuses. You rise by saving yourself. Remember this. A high-value man doesn't chase validation. He protects his peace, commands respect, and only builds with those who bring value back. Mic drop line to close. Don't ask if she likes you. Ask if she's worthy of the man you're becoming. If this hit home, share it with a brother who needs to hear it. Drop a comment. Which sign hit you the hardest? Let's talk about it, because healing starts with honesty. And if you're on a journey to becoming stronger, wiser, and unshakable, hit that like button, subscribe, and remember, protect your peace, respect your energy, and never settle for less than you give.